Thank you, Mr. Rajdan, and distinguished co-panelist and the guest sitting in the audience. It gives me a pleasure to speak on a very important topic here, which is wastewater treatment and reuse. And now this topic is, it is discussed everywhere. I don't think there is any dimension which is left undiscussed or non-discussed so far. So I would like to bring a business angle to this entire, reuse uh, case that we will discuss, and I'll try to present the already implemented business cases. I'm specifically saying business cases. We all know the environmental, ecological angle of it, but how do we bring out a business case which will also make it self-sustainable financially? That is also very important, and I'll try to bring that particular aspect. Next slide, please. Now, we have two challenges at hand right now. On one hand, we have a large amount of untreated sewage, and the numbers are there on your screen. We're saying urban India is producing somewhere in the range of 62,000 million liter per day of sewage, of which hardly 20,000 MLD is getting treated, and balance huge volume, 40,000 plus MLD, we are discharging to the system, to our rivers, to drains, to the water bodies, polluting them. And then, our social health is at stake because of that. On the other hand, the challenge is well known, the water scarcity, with the, and there are certain numbers. We have water available as of now is say 1100 BCM, and the consumption is around 650 BCM. Very soon, the demand will increase. It will go beyond supply. And these are the two challenges. And I think there is an opportunity now to see if this huge amount of untreated sewage, can we use it as a resource, water, to regenerate a water, to create a new resource which will also address the water scarcity issue. Now, this is what is the aim, okay? And there are multiple benefits built into it. It will bring a win-win system where water is available, where sewage gets treated, where our social, health issue gets addressed to some extent, and that is how this multidimensional aspect we are going to talk about today. Next slide, please. Now, if we talk about, the global scenario in the developed countries, the Western countries, both the percentage of treatment, wastewater treatment, as well as is reuse is much more than what we are doing here in India. The treatment in the developed countries is, anywhere in the range of 50, 75. The Western Europe would have more than 95% of their sewage getting treated. And generally, the reuse is also in the range of 25 to 30%, 40%. That has been the achievement so far in the Western countries, developed countries. In India, the treatment we have already seen, ranges between 5 to 25%, and reuse is minuscule. It has just started taking some baby steps. It is not even 5%. The range is 0 to 5, that's why we have put in, but it will be in decimals. So there is a big opportunity and scope for first treating the sewage and then reusing this sewage. Next slide, please. If you see China, okay, developing economy like ours. Next slide, please. Excuse me. Hello. Next slide. Yeah. So if you see, they have a national policy of, reusing the sewage. There is a big push because they also have a lot of provinces which are water scarce. So there is a push on, reuse of treated water, and they have a mission that each of these provinces will have at least 20 to 25% of their wastewater getting reused in various applications. May it be industrial application, may it be agriculture, but that is the target they have set for themselves. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah. So how can we achieve this? Okay. So for this, what we advocate is, change in philosophy. Right now, this entire water supply, wastewater treatment, sewerage network is ULB responsibility, the municipal responsibility. Okay, so these are handled by different departments, different contractors, different operators. We propagate a system where everything is integrated. Okay, so we have a water system. This is a typical cycle of any city. We have water resources. We take the raw water, treat it through our water treatment plant. Then our aim is to distribute this water through, and there are programs to provide 24/7 kind of water supply to the people. Okay, so provide more and more pressurized, clean water to the people. People consume this, sewage gets generated. Thumb rule is 80% of the raw water that people use comes out as a sewage. Now is a challenge. Treat this sewage, and aim should be to treat 100% of the sewage. And we have seen there is a big deficit. Sewage is not getting treated. And why? The reasons are, first and foremost is, the municipalities, the ULBs who are responsible for them, they have limited funds. And these funds are spent into more consumer-centric, citizen-centric services like water, street lights, urban roads. So these are visible. People will complain about it. So the money is spent on that, whatever budgets they have available. And then sewage is something, flowing in the backyard. Nobody is much bothered. It's not getting a proper attention. So unavailability of fund is one major problem or challenge that this sewage treatment is where we are, the proportions. Now, if we can treat this sewage and further treat it, the secondary, we all know STP, secondary treatment is what we do there. And that treated water may not be suitable for the industries. So there is an additional treatment needed for that, which we call as tertiary treatment. And there are various tertiary treatments available, from as rudimentary as sand filters to RO, the extreme end. We can, take the treatment to potable water level, though potable water we are not using the sewage for, but Singapore is using it. It's only a mindset. The water treatment, the quality is as good, or it is even better than the potable water that we are using right now. So if we can further treat it and sell it to the industry, then this cycle becomes financially self-sustainable. This is what we have attempted holistically in the city of Nagpur. Okay, so we have around 700 MLD of raw water getting treated through 5 water treatment plants. We have attempted the 24/7 water supply for the entire city, and then Nagpur is the first city where maximum sewage is getting treated and getting reused by the power plant. So fortunately for us, coincidentally for us, there are multiple power plants around city, but the corporation, the power generation companies there are pragmatic. They have invested the resources in using this treated water to the power plants. And I'll show the, this actual business case or a use case in the next slide, please. Next, please. So I'll talk about this particular project, which is entirely a PPP project, public-private partnership project. Entire investment is by a private operator, that is our company, Vishvaraj Environment. So we have developed a 200 MLD sewage treatment plant, a new plant, and we had an option. After secondary treatment, we could, discharge it to the drain or the river, as it is happening elsewhere in India. Or what they have done is, we were given the rights over treated water, secondary treated water as an operator. And we could locate a buyer who would use this treated water. The additional investment needed for that reuse, that is tertiary treatment, the pumping station and the pipeline infrastructure that will take this tertiary treated water from STP to the power plant premises. Power plant is the potential reuse consumer here. That entire investment is again by us. Okay. So we have invested and developed this entire infrastructure where 200 MLD sewage is collected through 3 rivers come, unfortunately, nalas now, the Pivri, Pohra and Nag river, 75 MLD and 50 MLD. So there is a place called Bhandewadi where we have built this 200 MLD sewage treatment plant, and we have entered into an agreement with 2 power plants, Thaparkeda and Koradi. These are both power plants by Mahagenco, the power generation utility from the state of Maharashtra. So we have given a tertiary treatment here, fiber disc filters imported from Korea. And then there is the pumping station. We have laid a pipeline of around 25-26 kilometer, taking this treated water
Mr.
from
Raut,
the...
maybe just speed up.
Yeah, sure. And this is how this, treated water is getting used. And this entire infrastructure is, I would say, made financially sustainable through sale of treated water. Next, please. And I'll be quick now. So, the reuse possibilities in India. So, even if we talk the power plants, like the one which we have done in Nagpur, there is almost 5,500 to 6,000 MLD of sewage treated water that can be deployed in the power plants all over India. There is additional, other industries, if we talk about the refineries, the ports, the railways, there is additional, and the private industries, of course, 10,000 MLD potential with those industries. Agriculture is another very large consumer. Even if we consider, we have done a study in Maharashtra, existing sewage treatment plant, if we take the secondary treated water from that sewage treatment plants to the agriculture, it has a potential to increase the irrigation of agriculture by 1%. 1% is a big percent if we talk about the agricultural irrigation, because thousands and thousands crores are invested into irrigation, agriculture irrigation. So the potential is huge. Next, please. And I'll conclude now. So next, please. There are multiple benefits. What is needed is a different approach. And we have 3-4 thoughts. This is my last slide, where I will conclude. So what is needed is basically a reuse mission. We have this Amrut 2.0 mission, we have smart city mission. Can we have a mission for reuse of treated water? Power plant already have a policy of using this if it is available in the 50-kilometer vicinity. Can we have a national mission? PPPs is something which we should propagate. Okay, private investment will come. Project will be completed in a time-bound manner. There is a skin in the game for the private operator. Assured treatment will happen. Okay, because water is getting delivered to the end consumer who is checking it at his doorstep. So assured quality treatment of the sewage treatment happens. The water is conserved. A huge volume of water that power plants are consuming right now in their cooling towers, which is raw water, same which can be used for agriculture or cities, that will be swapped, that will be made available. We are creating a new source of water. So there are multiple benefits. Probably, some policy interventions would be needed. Thank you very much. And I hope,
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.